and please bear me out on this, that it appears that the LJP is actually having a knock-on effect on the alliance, and so is the HAM and the RLM specific, not the HAM, but the LJP and the other. Vote conversion for JDU seems to have helped the JDU quite a bit.
Maybe, but that's like, I don't have an answer to this question. See, I think if this number holds, then what we are seeing is that LJP and HAM are not performing as well as they were expected to perform. They did really well in Lok Sabha, where LJP actually won, I think, 7 out of 7 Lok Sabha seats or 5 out of 5 Lok Sabha seats. But at Vidhan Sabha level, they are not being able to pull up. This could be one that perhaps the Dalit voters stay with them, but they are not able to attract the upper caste or EBC, one of those two voters with them. And if you remember, like the JDU, like Nitish Kumar and Chirag Paswan, friendship is not there, right? So we don't know what might be happening.
So I did a round of calls after the first phase of polling, because everybody does a reporting meeting right after that, all parties. So I also did my rounds with people. And the first thing that was said, even from the BJP leadership, was that yes, JDU's strike rate is going to be as good as the BJP strike rate. The JDU said that the all NDA meetings that were done in the run-up to the polls has helped them, because they were really counting on this time around the LJP being on board, and that those 32 seats where they were hurt, they're planning to recover. Even if they recover 15 of them, they said we're pretty much home. But one important thing that your findings don't reflect is a lot of worry in the NDA camp about Prashant Kishore. There were at least 2 seats in Patna city that the NDA was worried about. Ki ye phas gayi hai.
But it's showing 0 though. Zero seats.
Yeah, but their reporting, their assessment was that Prashant Kishore has managed to get, even in Patna, he has managed to get
seats,
some.
but they might get enough votes to damage
a certain amount of vote share. But in terms of the, we're seeing the party break up at the bottom of the screen, viewers, and you can have a look at that. See, out of the 60 to 70 NDA seats, 20 to 30 to the BJP, 35 to 45 to the JDU, the LJP is 0 to 5. Now, the LJP factor, Chirag Paswan, overweightage of 29 seats, did he actually merit that? That's a question many people are asking. The last time he was the attack dog who was sent after or set after Nitish Kumar in phase 1, before they tried to soothe things down and calm things down, phase 2 and 3. That's when they said no, Nitish Babu and Chirag
the thing is,
backed off. But
Anand, one factor that the BJP will probably be looking over its shoulder, I don't know, this is just phase 1. The JDU does well, obviously the dependency on the JDU increases. Let's not forget that even at the center.
I think they are very clear this time that they don't mind the dependency.
I'm just saying that it's
was
an
always
interesting
about revolving around Nitish Kumar and JDU. If JDU, does well, then obviously there is no way that the alliance would not win. The ruling alliance would not win. But I find I'm not contesting the numbers of this survey. After all, we must remember this is an exit poll, and this is a kind of estimated projection. There is something is different. I mean, we are saying in Mahagathbandhan, how is that left is doing so well, in the sense that the strike rate is about 50%.
No, but the left did well last time around also. The left did well last time. In fact, the left had as much seats as I think the Congress. They had 15 in all, and the Congress had 19.
Zaka, last time it was a very close election. This time it is become, what if we go by this, it's a one-sided election.
Well, yeah,
in that sense.
If the same trend holds, you're looking at 130 to 140.
But within the Mahagathbandhan, the left seems to be far more potent in its strike rate, and there's a reason why it was fighting and demanding more seats compared to the others, because of what it thought it was getting a sense on ground, that the left parties were gaining ground, and the hardcore left and communists were coming back and saying grouping together rather than drifting towards the Congress or the RJD. They were ready in these pockets where the left is doing its work on ground.
No, the other thing that's a constant from last time, in fact, it's worse for the Congress party, is that their strike rate is going to be even worse than compared to 2020.
They have, in terms of ticket distribution, they have undergone a very big change from being, upper caste party primarily
jettisoned the upper class.
It doesn't seem to be working. They're still at 5 to 10 out of the...
Look, I think it's better to wait till 14.
I'm just asking, for all the mahal that they tried to build, what is the purchase on ground if this is the impact on phase 1? Rahul?
No, obviously there is a crisis there for the Congress. It's messaging completely off the mark. Look, I mean, one has to preface all one's remarks by suggesting that let's wait till the 14th, but fundamentally,
Sitaram Kesi used to say, परिणाम चौंका देने वाले होंगे.
नहीं, ठीक है, वो तो-
The only difference in Rahul Shivshankar's case is they take clips of him and put it on Twitter. Poor Mr. Kesri didn't have to deal with that.
परिणाम चौंका देने वाले होंगे, हम चौंकेंगे या वो चौंकेंगे देखेंगे.
No, but the fact of the matter is that, look, fundamentally, the Congress is not clearly adding to the numbers of the, I mean, if you just look at the numbers, the RJD's conversion rate is not that bad. It's
No,
not
but,
hopeless. It's veering towards the 50% mark.
Rahul, there is one
Yeah.
thing that the
So-
Congress has managed to do in this election, which is that completely keep out the AIMIM of the fray.
Yeah.
Uncontrovertibly, the entire Muslim vote, minority vote, has gone towards the Mahagathbandhan, largely because of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress. And the stances that he has taken, not just in this election, but progressively in the past.
But Nisla, the problem is this: in 5 years, if they've gone to an even lesser strike rate than what they won last time, 19 out of 70, this time it could be 10 out of 61.
Well, that's the problem of not building your
how
political
does,
program.
How does that justify,
Social
whatever position
transformation
he's
takes
taking?
time.
No, we
If you
try
are-
to see
if
if we
you're
can
upper class
get
party and
Umesh
you're becoming
Shah
a
back on the
OBC
thing because
party.
he's putting out the numbers. But these numbers, the projections at the News 18 mega exit polls show that the left strike rate is better even than the RJD in phase 1.
Yeah.
That's a trend. Even though they're contesting lesser number of seats,
Anand,
but 10 to 15 seats out of the 30 contested, it's quite intense. Yeah.
But compared to 2020, if this number holds, the strike rate for every constituent within MGB is lower.
Yeah.
Even last time, RJD has a 50% strike rate, left had more than 50% strike rate, and Congress had like around 20-25% strike rate. This time, everyone's strike rate is low in MGB.
नो सर, ये देखिए 22 सीटें लेफ्ट का ग्रुपिंग सीपीआई एमएल सीपीआई सीपीआईएम
हाँ तो 22 में 10 जीत रहे ना तो
22 में
50%
10 से 15 का
15
प्रोजेक्शन
भी हो
अगर
सकता है ना।
15 जीत गया तो आप मान लीजिए 12 पकड़ लीजिए
हाँ तो 50% हुआ ना, but last time it was 70%.
हाँ
No, but their vote is also much more.
Smaller parties together, and that's also a very interesting story. I think the though they call it Mahagathbandhan, but Mahagathbandhan lacked that kind of diversity that the NDA has. There was a lot of work and rework was there last minute. Mukesh Sahni, I was just looking at not to contest again Anand this figure, but in that India Alliance story, there is no mention of Mukesh Sahni and VIP.
Yeah.
How is he doing? I mean, we're talking about
he was
left,
considered
we're
so
talking about
important
Congress,
that he's going to be
precisely, a
Deputy
deputy
Chief
chief minister, and also talk about economically weaker sections. So there are glaring gaps and holes in some of the surveys and projections, and we must wait till 14th.
they did say we'll give you the deputy chief minister's chair, but the Congress didn't like the way he conducted himself.
That's a
And
different
they
story. But is
sidelined
he
him.
getting
He was
zero?
actually
Is he
complained-
getting one?
Yeah, zero.
he's
As
getting
per,
zero.
at least for the first phase, zero.
So I see there is a lot of bandwagon approach also in the exit polls.
Which is what?
In the sense, bandwagon approach is quite.
You mean the horse is carrying the cart or the cart is
Absolutely.
carrying the horse?
Okay, Rahul, yeah.
So I think again now at this moment most pollsters are basically giving advantage to NDA and disadvantage to MGB. So we are discussing why MGB might have got it wrong. One thing which I think the opposition didn't do well is basically seat coordination. Right? On 11 of those seats, they are so-called
They're
having
friendly
friendly
fights. There's nothing called friendly
Second,
fight, yeah.
like I think rather than peaking early, and maybe that's true, but what happened in the crucial weeks before nomination is that the opposition was not able to figure out who their candidates are. And so they were firefighting on the number of seats that they want to fight rather than running a serious campaign on the ground.
Right, let's go across to a voice that is very, very mellifluous, very young. Maithili, namaste, Anand बोल रहा हूँ.
नमस्कार नमस्कार
कैसी हैं आप? गला ठीक है आपका?
बहुत अच्छी हूँ जी। अब मैं रिकवर कर चुकी हूँ।
रिकवर कर चुके हैं। चुनाव में तो आपकी आवाज ही बैठ गई थी, इतना प्रचार करना पड़ा, पर बताइए दरभंगा में सब ठीक है?
सब
सियाराम कहेंगे
बहुत
चुनाव
अच्छा
के
है,
बाद?
सब बहुत सुंदर। जी जी जी।
कैसा गया बताइए?
मेरा एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अच्छा रहा, और खासकर जो वोटर्स के बीच में जब जा करके उनके मन की बात को समझना, तो आसपास के क्या क्या सिचुएशंस हैं, क्या क्या काम करना है मुझे एक विधायक के तौर पर, उसका एक पर्सनल मैनिफेस्टो बनाना, तो ये सब मेरा एक काम रहा। और लोगों के बीच में जो एनडीए के लिए प्यार था, आशीर्वाद था, वो सब, क्योंकि मेरे क्षेत्र में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बुजुर्गों से इंटरेक्शन मेरा हुआ, महिलाओं से इंटरेक्शन हुआ, जितने हमारे यंग वोटर्स है, फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर्स है, उनसे इंटरेक्शन बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ। तो सब लोगों का मन है एनडीए को आगे ले करके जाने का।
बट एक बात बताइए कि प्रचार आसान है कि रियाज, बताइए।
दोनों में मैंने खूब मन लगाया है। रियाज क्या है, उसका जितना भी टफ पार्ट था वो मेरा बचपन से गुजर गया है। जो सर्दियों में बिना सोए आपको सुबह सुबह उठ करके रियाज करना, ये सब बहुत टफ रहा, म्यूजिकल जर्नी भी। लेकिन यहाँ पे राजनीति में जीरो से शुरू किया है तो शुरू में थोड़ा कठिन लगा, लेकिन अब बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
अमित शाह जी आपके लिए प्रचार करने के लिए आए, कैसा माहौल लग रहा है बीजेपी एनडीए के लिए?
सब पॉजिटिव लग रहा है। 14 तारीख को हम लोग बस उस जश्न की तैयारी करेंगे।
हाँ, आप अपनी सीट में जीतेंगी, आपको
बिल्कुल मुझे लग
विश्वास
रहा
है?
है, मुझे पूरा विश्वास लगता है।
एक बात बताइए, आप महिला भी हैं, युवा भी हैं, क्या फैक्टर था बिहार में जहां पर लोगों ने बढ़ चढ़ के वोट दिया? किस मुद्दे पर, किस विषय पर? जैसा आपने सोचा था और फिर आप ग्राउंड पे गई, तो फिर आपका क्या अंडरस्टैंडिंग, लर्निंग क्या अलग था? वाज इट डिफरेंट?
जैसे कि मीडिया पे हम लोग मैं सोशल मीडिया की एक बहुत बड़ी कंज्यूमर रही हूँ, आपने जैसा मेरा जर्नी फॉलो किया होगा। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था इस इलेक्शन से पहले, जब मैं राजनीति में एंटर नहीं की थी, कि जो जितना कुछ सोशल मीडिया पे दिख रहा है वही सब कुछ मतलब रियल है, हम लोग को वही रियल लगता था। जैसे कि मेरे प्रति विरोध जितना मैंने देखा, मैं बहुत डरी हुई थी कि जब मैं जाऊंगी तो मेरा साथ कौन देगा। लेकिन ऑन ग्राउंड जितने लोग मोदी जी को प्यार करते, नीतीश जी को प्यार करते, ये देख करके लगा कि सोशल मीडिया पे जो चल रहा है वो एक अलग ही दुनिया है, लेकिन ऑन ग्राउंड लोग बहुत ही ज़्यादा मन बना चुके हैं। और फैक्टर्स जैसा आपने पूछा, तो हमारे यंग लोगों को बहुत ही ज़्यादा उम्मीदें हैं जो एनडीए सरकार से आने वाले समय में बहुत ही कुछ अच्छा होगा, और इसको लेकर के सब वोट कर रहे हैं।
पर ऐसा लोग नहीं कहते थे कि नीतीश बाबू थक गए हैं, नीतीश बाबू चला पाएंगे कि सरकार? क्या ये उनकी लास्ट इलेक्शन है, बीजेपी वोट ले लेगी पर उनको मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बनाएगी? ये सब बातें चर्चा होती थी, आपसे कोई पूछता था नीतीश बाबू के बारे में ये सब?
ऑन ग्राउंड मैंने ये ऐसा कुछ नहीं सुना, और ये ओपोनेंट लोग टीवी पे बोलते हैं ये मैंने सुना है। लेकिन जब मैं लोगों के बीच गई तो बहुत ज्यादा पॉजिटिव था सब कुछ।
हाँ, पर सब आपसे कुछ पूछते थे या सिर्फ आपको गाना गाने को कहते थे? एक बात बताइए।
सब मुझे
सबने आपको कहा
आशीर्वाद
होगा,
देते थे।
बहुत गाने को कहा
गाना
होगा।
गाए बिना तो कोई छोड़ते ही नहीं थे। सबसे पहले मुझे सुनते थे कि मैं क्या कहने आई हूँ। और सबसे पहली चीज, लोगों के अंदर इस चीज को लेके भी बहुत उत्साह था कि मोदी जी ने मुझे प्रत्याशी के रूप पर अलीनगर में भेजा है। जैसा उन्होंने बोला था कि 1 लाख युवाओं को राजनीति से जोड़ेंगे जिनका कोई पॉलिटिकल बैकग्राउंड ना रहा हो। तो उसमें जब मेरा पहला नाम और एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर मुझे अलीनगर भेजा गया, तो लोग उस चीज को लेके भी काफी सराह रहे थे, मुझको और मोदी जी को भी। और ये हम लोग के लिए सौभाग्य की बात है कि अपने क्षेत्र में जाकर के काम करने का मौका मिल रहा है।
अच्छा, एक मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, एक इंसिडेंट, कोई घटना बता दीजिए जिसकी वजह से आपको लगा हो कि जो मैंने निर्णय लिया वो सही लिया, द डिसीजन आई हैव टेकन इज द राइट वन। सम इंसिडेंट जो ग्राउंड
शुरू के
जो
4
आपको
दिन
याद भी
was
रहेगा।
like-
जी,
शुरू के 4 दिन आई वॉज ट्रॉमेटाइज्ड फॉर रियल, बिकॉज नोबडी वर जस्ट, मैं कैसे उस फीलिंग को बताऊं। रोज 4 दिन मैं रो रो करके वापस अपने कमरे में जाती थी कि क्या मैं सही जा रही हूँ, क्या मैं सही कर पाऊंगी, क्या मुझे जो इतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है मैं उसको जस्टिफाई कर पाऊंगी अपने पूरे इस जर्नी में। लेकिन 4 दिन के बाद जो मुझे शक्ति मिली ना, जब सारी महिलाएं मुझे शक्ति देती थी, मैं पर्सनली बहुत लोगों से जाकर के मिली, सबका आशीर्वाद लिया, और वो जो मोटिवेशन मिला ना कि मुझे अपने ऊपर इतना भरोसा हो चुका है कि चाहे कोई मुझे कितना भी विरोध करे, ट्रोल करे, लेकिन मैं अपने आप को अगले 5 साल में अच्छे से प्रूव करके दिखाऊंगी।
आपके गले में अभी भी खराश है, तो आज आपसे मैं आग्रह नहीं करूंगा, जिस दिन आप जीतेंगी, जिस दिन निर्णय आएगा उस दिन आपसे फिर बात करेंगे, तब आपसे खूब गवाएंगे, तब आपको फिर गाना होगा, तब तक गला आपका ठीक हो जाए, यही प्रार्थना है।
थैंक यू।
ऑलवेज अ प्लेजर स्पीकिंग विद यू मैथिली। थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू। नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
So I think we have the overall state number now.
Let's go to that. Let's go to that. Interesting insight that she gave, that I realized as Gen Z that the social media world and what's happening on ground, the real world is very different. And that's a very candid admission that came from a first timer. Let's now look at the numbers. We got the full set of numbers from Bihar. Let's try and see what the updated numbers are, and we'll put out our numbers also, the News 18 mega exit poll numbers, after we take a look at the poll of polls. Viewers, let's see what the number is. There an upward, downward revision somewhere? Matriz has made an upward revision. Matriz has pushed those numbers up to 167. So it's looking stronger for the NDA. Look at JVC, says 150. Let's look at the higher numbers, and there are more numbers which are getting closer to the 160 mark at the upper end for the NDA. What's happening with the INDIA? Is there a downward revision? No. Chanakya strategy keeps it at 108, but JVC poll takes it to 103 and 102. So there are 4 pollsters who are actually giving the MGB the possibility of breaching the 100 mark, but yet falling nearly about 15 to 20, 20 to 22 short of the majority number. The other part, look at Jansuraj. He's drawn a blank. 3 years of effort there, trying to be the voice of the opposition or voice of the people against the ruling or the incumbent and displace the opposition. Has Prashant Kishore given it all, down the drain by deciding not to contest, or what's happened there? One has to see. The others, well, there are some of the pollsters who are giving double-digit projections or near about double-digit projections to the others. Will that really manifest? Will the likes of VIP, will the likes of some of the other smaller parties on both sides, NDA and all, turn out the strike rate or perhaps pull in the votes that they're supposed to? We have to wait and watch. But overall, if you were to see 1, 2, 3 pollsters, 4, if you were to take People's Pulse also, 4 pollsters are giving the NDA more than 160 or about 160 at the higher end. That means the target set by the NDA and Amit Shah at 160 is possible. There is no outlier so far. There is no outlier in all of these numbers so far, and one would wonder why. Usually, exit pollsters, there is somebody who's an outlier. This time, there is no outlier. They're all within a similar band, plus or minus 10 seats, but that's where they are. Everybody is giving them more than 130 seats, the NDA, but less than 170. And it's in that range for the NDA, and it's NDA all the way. There's nobody who's saying that the MGB has a chance. Now let's look at the breakup. This is the mega exit poll. Overall numbers for CNN News 18 and the News 18 network. 140 to 150 seats for the NDA, 85 to 95 seats for the INDIA. Jansuraj could get up to 5 seats, and the others are 5 to 10 seats. So who are these others? We'll look at the breakup. Let's take it across to our panel. Rahul Shiv Shankar, were you expecting 140 to 150, or will this be more? Or is it that this is a trend? And if this trend stays, then that 160 number could be breached.
Yes. So decisive, I think it's going to go